Hello to the Shens. Good afternoon. Welcome back to Tagum Doctors College, and this is again your learning partner, Teacher Anna. Now, last week we have practiced and answered the learning activity sheet for lesson number 6. So today we are going to focus on lesson number 7, which is about the origins of the different components of a gadget, business enterprise, industrial, technological, or agricultural. So this is more about the components. So kumbaga, kung sino yung maging or gusto maging business or CEO or business owner here, so this lesson is very helpful in building your corporation someday. So for our most essential learning competencies, so here you are going to illustrate the origin of the different components of a gadget business enterprise. You are also going to know more about the industrial or technological or agricultural product through a mind map and reflection essay. So here or at the end of the lesson, guys, learners shall be able to create a map to show the origins of the different product and then components of a gadget, business enterprise, industrial, technological, agricultural product. So you are going also to make a map. Now, let's try to know more about this lesson. So, first, to know more about it, let us try to know the Philippines, a global model on labor migration. So, bakit merong labor migration, ma'am? So, first guys, it is because all of us want to have a greener pasture. So, that's why we are moving for prosperity. So, dili ta pwedeng diri lang or like staying in a place nga dili ta mabuhi or wala ang ato ang mga panginahanglan or basic needs. So that's why we are moving. So that's why we are moving for prosperity. So in the Philippines, guys, has been publicized as a global model for labor export. So when you look at like all over the world, nagi mga Pilipino, no? It is because we export or kumbaga daghan jud sa ato ang mga nagaadto og laing nasod for greener pasture. So in some international gatherings, Philippine officials have been lauded for their ways of handling the country's labor export program. So we also have differentiated programs, like for example, you are trained here as a beekeeper, and then you will be trained also in other countries to be a beekeeper, and then after that you will receive allowance and you will receive salary for being a beekeeper in that certain place. So inana siya guys ang labor export program. So daghan pa siya, dili lang siya beekeeping, naapoy butchery, naapoy lahi-lahi nga mga trabaho. So just like housekeeping, so napunta mga program ana. So officials of labor exporting countries have even asked the Philippine government officials to give them pointers in managing and developing their export or their labor export program. So it means we are also leading with when it comes to labor export. So meaning daghan ta og mga gipagawas nga mga labor nato dere from the Philippines, which come back in a form of income and in the form of tax. So nagatabang gid na siya sa ato ang ekonomiya. And then a lot of officials put from other countries, they also want to know how we develop the labor export programs. So with some 8.7 million migrants or overseas Filipino workers, so daghan kay tang mga Filipino workers, no, 8.7 million. So an undocumented worker overseas who remit more than $12 billion each year. The Philippines has a number of laws in place and agencies mandated to serve the needs of its overseas workers and their families. So here guys, as you can see, daghan kay taog mga overseas Filipino worker. And in that way, it helped us because they remitted more than $12 billion each year. So kani siya, it will return to us in a form of tax. So that's why there are a lot of laws nga nagaprotekta sa toang OFW. So in many cases, however, Filipino migrants still find themselves in vulnerable situations and unable to realize their rights guaranteed by national and international instrument. So basin pag daghan na taog mga balaod nga nagaprotekta sa ato ang OFW, daghan gyapon sa ilaha ang dili maprotektahan, they are vulnerable. So that's why kanang maabuso sa amo. So daghan kayo og mga inana nga cases it is because of dili gid siya ang ato ang mga balaod is dili siya assurance nga mo protekta sa ato ang mga OFW. So that's why they are also vulnerable. So I hope that they can be protected or mahadlok jud tong mga amo or mga other people or like the international people nga dili gid sila pataka og panghilabot, pang violent sa ato ang mga OFW. So they must be respected even though they are a server, they are housekeeper or beekeeper, so they must be respected even though nagahatag ta sa ilaha og labor or naata sa mga pinakababa lang nga posisyon. So the Philippines live up to its image as a model for overseas labor export. Do its laws and agencies really serve the need of Filipino overseas workers and their families? So I think the government would also discover this, and then they need also to utilize and even check the law and the agencies if they are really participating or ba jud nila, ginarespeto ba nila ang balaod, naabay gyud ngipon ang balaod, at the same time if ato ang balaod diri is still nice pa ba or nindot pa ba siya sa karon nga 21st century, or kanang kinahanglan na ba siya usabon, or is it obsolete? So just like that, so the government should see that. And then, has the country been able to draw on international instrument in promoting the rights of Filipinos abroad? So also kani po dapat na bantayanan. So ba ang country ba nga ilahang gitrabahuan, or does kanang it promote ba the rights of the Filipino abroad? So uusa ba ilahang right as they are here in the Philippines? Same lang ba gihapon kung naa sa uban nga nasod? So it should be dapat na ata international instruments ana. So these documents seek to lay bare the concept of a global model. So that's why dapat daw na ay global model by representing current Philippine and global realities. It deals on how this affect and influence labor out migration in the Philippines or in the country. It will further examine the Philippine labor migration policies, not merely in theory but also in terms of realities on the ground. So dapat sundon dyan na siya, respetuon, at the same time dapat na atay global model. Kumbaga, mao ni siya dapat ang sundon sa tipok nga nasod. So whether asa man ang Pilipino or asa man ang OFW, they should be well respected, they should be well treated. So in that way, guys, pantay-pantay good. It is because they are also helping our economy to grow and develop. So based on the facts, readers can either remain convinced that the Philippines is really a model that should be emulated, or they can turn into critics of the current labor export program. So because there are also a lot of OFW nga naa sa vulnerable places, and even kanang mga naka-experience of violence from the other people or in other countries, so that's why they need to check. So kung tama ba gyud nga model paghihapon ang Pilipinas when it comes to labor export, or the Philippines should be critic when it comes to the labor export. So the government should know. So kita As a UM student, we should know about that. We should know about the law, especially if you become an OFW. So for that, when you are moving for prosperity, sa prosperity jud ka paingon kung dili sa kadautan. So they need to see kung applicable pa ba na, and then that law or that certain right is also applicable in other countries. So what if wala kay na nga right in the other countries? So na possibility nga ano jud ka makahiagom ka og mga negative or unfortuitous events sa imuhang pagka OFW. So that's why we need to be very careful with that. So if you become a leader or a government officer, so you need to know that. You need also to help the OFW to really move for prosperity. So now let's go to the aspects of business represented by the business architecture. So here guys, we have the questions of what, why, who, where, what, how well, when and where, how, what, why, who, and where. So these are the business architecture. When you are building a business, you need to know this one. So first, you need to know who are your stakeholders and where are they. So you need also to know what are your capabilities and who and where is in the organization. You need also to know about the information, the value streams or value streams. So you need to know that before building your business. And then after that, you need also to have your policies, rules, and regulations. And then you need to know why there is a certain policies, rules, and regulation in that certain business. So we need also to have or to know what products and services are we giving. Next is how well. So we need to measure and then metrics and how well is our business. Next is for the decisions and events. So in making a business, guys, you need to always venture yourself in decision making. And then in events. So kani siya nga mga events, can it help for the advertisement or can it help for the different structure of our company? And in every decision making, guys, always remember that there is also a positive and a negative effect on it, especially in business. So you must know the reality, or you need to really weigh the reality about the decisions and about that certain events. So dapat mas daghan gyud ang positive kaysa sa negative. Next is initiatives and projects. So we need to know how these initiatives and projects help our business. And we need also to know why. So why we have this vision, these strategies and tactics in our business. So there are a lot of things that you must consider when building a business, guys. So these are the things that you need to consider. Okay? That is for our business side. Now, let's go to the next one. So let's go to the gadget. So in the gadget, guys, for example, we have here the laptop versus the desktop. So always remember that the old gadgets versus the new gadgets nowadays, guys, has its own advantages and disadvantages. Has its own pros and cons. So when we say laptop, it is portable. It is good for on-the-go computing. It is more expensive. It is harder to fix. It is some might not like the keyboard and the mouse experience. So because gamay siya, no? Gamay lang pud ang iyahang mouse. And then for the desktop pod, we can say easier to upgrade and fix. Pero bulky. Prices can be quite reasonable. Can have nicer components, and then we can have less chance of breaking or thief. So less kayo ang chance nga mabuak siya or maguba siya dali or makawat. So these are the good things and the bad things of having a laptop or a desktop. So just like here in our lesson, guys, because we are going to know the negative and the positive effects or the pros and cons of different components of a gadget. So always remember, guys, when choosing the components or choosing a gadget, you must know why you need it, or like you need, kung kinahanglan ba jud nimo siya. So just like our student nowadays, so medyo kinahanglan na jud ang laptop, no, or ang computer. It is because of the online or the virtual learnings. So that's why we use a portable laptop. So sometimes, some of us would really venture into laptop, some of us would really venture into a desktop. So, mo ni sila ang ilahang mga rason, and then some other, mo po ni ilahang mga rason. So, always remember, you need to weigh things. Kung asa yun diri ang mas, mas pabor sa imuha, and then asa yun diri ang mas makareceive ka og pros kaysa sa cons. So, that is for the component of a gadget. Okay, so that is for the business enterprise. For industrial and technological agricultural, guys, you can also try to research it. Okay, so we have different components when it comes to industrial. We also have different components when it comes to technological and agricultural. So in that part, let's go to your assessment to know more about it and try to research more about it so that you can answer our assessments. So thank you so much for listening, guys. Let's go now to your assessments. Have a great day, and always remember to do your best additions, be the best always, and make your parents proud. Thank you. Bye.